All right. Little technical difficulties, guys.
Come on now. Hey, come on now. Start small, dream big. Business is growing, going to another level. Keep your company going. Work together to get more opportunity. Knocking, open up the door. The more you learn, the more you know. The more you play, the more you grow. Make money, 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 money. Big money, 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 money. Got to make money, 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 money. Come on and get money.
Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan is an author, intercessor, mentor, advisor, and apostolic visionary leader. For over a decade, Dr. Jordan has catapulted many business leaders and ministries into greater positions of influence, productivity, and profitability through her transformational leadership, intercessory prayer training, teachings, and prophetic counsel. Dr. Jordan answered the call to ministry while working for a prestigious law firm. During this time, she started a midday Bible study on the streets of downtown Chicago, which led many to develop a more intimate relationship with God. Signs, wonders, and miracles followed the word. Dr. Jordan resigned from her position in 2008 to pursue her heart's desire to help people discover their calling, maximize their potential, and dominate in their sphere of influence. Dr. Jordan is a graduate of the Living Word School of Ministry and Missions. She also graduated from the Joseph Business School of Entrepreneurship. Dr. Jordan is the author of Life Without Limits, 52 Biblical Principles to Reach a Prophetic Destiny, and 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting for Spiritual Breakthrough. She is the founder of Tiffany Jordan Ministries, dedicated to ministries of outreach, empowerment, training, and leadership development. She is also the CEO of Tiffany K. Jordan LLC and Covenant Connection Corporation, a consulting firm that provides kingdom solutions for marketplace dominion. Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan, transforming lives to dominate in their sphere of influence.
All right. Good morning. I know you're like, okay, when am I coming on, Michelle?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm
Thank you
good.
so much for taking
Absolutely.
out the time. I know you are relaxing and resting, but I appreciate you taking the time out. I know what you do for others is really, really important. And so I wanted you to be a part of my campaign, my Giving Tuesday campaign, and let others know, exactly what you have going on. I know I'm a part of a lot of it, so I'm not going to talk about it because I am biased. So
Well, you would be the best person to talk about it.
I know, right? Right. So if you guys don't know, this is the Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan. Don't forget the K. Jordan, and she helps business owners like myself. She helps moms like myself. She helps a widow like myself. She helps us. Okay, so you guys see the trend, that this is her gift. This is what she does. She helps both in life and in business. And this is an organization that she has. So she has a nonprofit and for profit. So Dr. Jordan, if you could tell us a lot about your nonprofit and how you're just helping folks like local and globally.
Yeah, so our nonprofit is Tiffany Jordan Ministries. And we basically have a mission to help people, as the bio that I haven't seen in forever pretty much states it all. I'm like, yeah, that's it. But I just really have a passion for people to know their God ordained purpose, like why God created them and put them in the earth and what they're here to do. Because most people, the average person, if you ask them, if they clearly know exactly what God created them to do, they really don't know. And so they may be working a job and maybe doing something, but the average person isn't happy in that career path because they're not fulfilled because they're not doing what they were born to do. So I really have a passion to help people identify their distinct calling from God, their purpose. And once they know it, I help them to align with it, to come into alignment, to maximize that potential, and to ultimately be on the path to reach their destiny. And we do that through trainings, through mentorship and coaching, and really just ground level discipleship, getting people to know exactly why they're here, and then getting them on the path to equipping them to have the courage, to have the boldness, to have the knowledge and understanding and the wisdom and the faith to step out and become who God has ordained them to be. So I'm really passionate about that. And so we do that to people all over the world. And so we want to spread the gospel. We want to get people, number one, into the kingdom of God, right? And so we do have a ministry that wins souls, and we teach biblical principles even to people that are in business and entrepreneurs, and we even go inside of businesses and we help corporations instill these principles in their mission and their day-to-day work, and it just becomes a better workplace, work environment, because people are not doing anything they want to do, but they have a standard, and that standard becomes a biblical standard, which everyone, including the leader, upholds within their personal life and in their companies. And so we teach people what God has said about them, what he has put them in the earth to do, and how to take total possession, as you see, of these promises by faith. And so we just are raising up people, raising up leaders, and then we want them to go into their perspective field with courage, with boldness, and not hiding their light at all, being a witness through what they do, not necessarily becoming preachers, but being a witness through the business that God has given them, in their family, being a light, raising up their children the right way, being stable in their marriages, all of the things that are part of life. We want them to do it, but we want them to do it God's way. And there is a way that God has ordained for us to do every single thing. And so we instill those principles in a very strategic way. Did that answer your question, Michelle?
Yeah, it did. At least y'all know she got the answers, and we know where she's getting the answers from. So,
Yes.
This is really, really important, because even, a lot of folks talk about mental health and how so many young people, oh my gosh, like how they say so many young people are depressed, especially with COVID-19. They had to stay in the house. They couldn't socialize with their friends. They were online anyway, but that was an option. It wasn't mandatory. And sometimes people still can't get out of that. And because I still see it where I walk around, and people are still very, very fearful. And that's just life. And like you said, even in business, it's like, what were we called to do? Sometimes we don't know until it's like the second half of our life. And if we knew at the beginning portion of our life, how much more could we do?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And right there's absolutely, it's like where you come in at. So you guys may be thinking like, okay, so she was talking, older people. Let me tell you this. My two youngest. So if you guys don't know, I have 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. So I still have the 2 youngest with me, and they talk about Dr. Tiffany, and it's so funny. They're like, "Mom, when did Dr. Tiffany say?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "You need to mind your own business. What did she say about you too?" So she's affecting generations. And within the workplace, I know my biggest platform is LinkedIn. So when we talk about corporations, I love how you said it's better when you go into the corporate space. Know what your purpose is. You're not floundering around. And so when it's time to speak up with confidence and such, that's where you come in at with the training and the mentorship. And if you could talk a little bit about the mentorship, I am one part of the mentorship, guys. So if you could talk about the mentorship and like your focus on, again, helping others find that, it's like, what are your steps for helping us? Because I know what your steps were for me, and I look pretty today, but sometimes during those times, I'm like, woo, doggy. So
Well, there's several opportunities for mentorship. One that we're offering now that is always open is well, for now it's always open, but that's our Compass University. It's the easiest way to just hop in and be a part of a group. It's kind of like a group coaching slash mentorship, but we just deal with real life stuff and people can be themselves. Like Michelle, come to the sessions virtually any way you want to and not feel judged because you're there with people that are on the same mission and on the same path as you. They're trying to live their best life. They're trying to live purposefully, and they're willing to deal with the things that may not have been dealt with, not just with them, but in their families, their bloodline. And we're just getting to the root of the matter. And so that is a monthly group coaching, mentoring. And we do biblical principles. We do practical application, but everything is rooted in what God has said. And so Compass University is a school, but it's a school of discipleship. We get down to the root of every matter. We want you to know your purpose. We want you to know how to get in alignment with that purpose. We want you to know how to have the right character and integrity when you're walking out that purpose. We want you to know how to parent your children properly. We want you to know how to be a good spouse. All of these things are important, and we give you the regiment or the protocol for which God has said to do things decently and in order for every single area of your life. So every month we're coming with different topics. I bring in guest speakers that are experts in their field and different things like that. But you're going to get poured into in a way that you're going to have work to do. Okay. And so we're not doing the work for you. I am not doing the work for you. And what I've seen is, like Michelle is saying, it doesn't just affect the person, it affects the family. Absolutely. And generations to come. And so once the person is changed, whenever God wants to do something in the earth, he changes a person. It always starts with one person that is willing to hear the voice of God and surrender. And he always starts with a person, but that person typically is a seed that affects multiple generations that will come after them. So don't think it's just for you. You may think I'm perfect. Well, are you having problem with your children? Are you having problems with your marriage? Whatever it is, all of those areas get touched. But once you are touched, honey, you will become a light. You will become a witness. And I'm telling you, it's just like a domino effect. We've seen people come in, their spouses were tired of hearing my voice because they would hear me coming through the computers. But don't you know, now all of those spouses are now part of Tiffany Jordan Ministries. They come to the events with their wives, and now they work as ushers and they work helping us. And now they're happy that their wives were part of it. We have one couple, they come to every single event. They fly in and just serve and they volunteer. Another couple, they now have 117 restaurants around the world. Okay. So the impact is limitless, and it's not for just anybody. I mean, it's not for this person or that person. These people are from all walks of life. We have C-suite professionals. We have people that start off just as regular, like this particular guy that now has 117. You heard that right. Franchise stores around the world. He was just a manager at a Pizza Hut. Now he owns Pizza Huts and Rallies. And he wasn't in the program. His wife was. But he started listening, right. And the rest is history. And that couple was in our very first Life Without Limits mentorship 12-week program. And just so you know, the mentorship, that Life Without Limits piece is based upon my book. And that book is called Life Without Limits. It's 52 biblical principles to reach your prophetic destiny. I believe everyone has a prophetic destiny that God has ordained for them to fulfill. And these principles give you a foundation to live by. We have to live by principles. We can't just live doing whatever we want to do or according to what social media says, the world says. We have to live according to God's principles. And so that gives us a standard to live by. And we become standard bearers in our families. We become standard bearers in our workplaces. People begin to look at us because we are distinguished. And we are representatives of where we're from, okay, which is the kingdom of heaven. And so we're there not just on our own accord. And so we're not murmuring and complaining through our situations. We know that we're there intentional by God on assignment. And we have a different perspective because now we understand the assignment. And now we have principles that are governing our attitudes, governing our belief systems, governing how we think about things. And so we can't think like the world. Because as a man thinks, so is he. So God has given us exactly what to think about every matter, about every situation. There's a way that God has said, think like this about that. This is how you think about that. But the average person, even church goers, don't know because they don't actually read their Bibles. Okay.
Look, hold on, y'all. I might have to stop her right there. Now, me, she's talking about me. Now, I'm being honest. I am a preacher's kid. My dad's a preacher, a pastor, granddad. I got cousins, uncles. And yes, at first I was going the easy way. It's like hearing what they said. But what they said, again, that's their belief. And this is the furthest that they can go. But when I'm reading the word for myself and I'm praying and I'm asking God, God takes the limits off. Right there's, right there's my paper note, no limits. So so I had to interject that. And then also you had stated that, Dr. Tiffany, she gives us homework. And then there's a accountability. So I know the accountability is coming later on this week. I saw the email. So there's accountability, but the accountability always helps. It's again, we're not floating around. What is the purpose of us being a part of a community? What is the purpose of us verbally saying what we want to do and being held accountable? And this helps to continually to push us in that direction. So I love when you were like, okay, I can tell you, but what is the saying? Like you can guide a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's the truth of the matter. And so you guys, I know I've been putting in the comments, and some of you guys, I can't see your comments just the way StreamYard is. That if you're saying like, I know where I'm at, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but my children don't. This is just a great program. Again, Dr. Tiffany, she is a prophet. She's a mentor. She's a coach. So wherever you need to be, that when she talks, and my kids be like, was she talking to me? No, she was talking to me, but it's at different levels because again, it's like, where are you? What is she to you in her life? This is one of the things that she had asked us. And for me and my children, she's different things, and even though sometimes it's like the same message, it's hitting us in different ways. And this is really, really important to help us with our next. It's like, what is your next? Are you unsure what your next is? And you guys hear me talk about, you need a coach, you need a mentor. Dr. Tiffany, she has one. Okay. Oprah, she talk, you'd be like, okay, I don't know who Dr. Tiffany is. Y'all know who Oprah is. Okay. And Oprah, she has one. Any person who's in a leadership role, they have, or they had a mentor, or they're reading books. So sometimes it's not always that physical person, but they're reading books, they're learning. We have to learn because technology changes, culture changes. And so all of this is really important when you have a coach or a mentor in your life who's helping you guide through different paths of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the number one technology for me, just so you all know, is the technology of prayer. Okay? Because that one don't change. That is your free will. You can always use it. You can always do it anywhere, anytime, and you can tap in to the wealth of heaven. You can tap into the wealth of knowledge, resources. The number one thing for me is the technology of prayer. Prayer is my number one life strategy. And even the business people, I teach them how to pray. Okay? How to seek God and how to hear the voice of God. Me, I'm here right now to seek God, to hear his face, to hear his voice for the next phase of ministry and business. And so I really want to raise up a culture of marketplace leaders and entrepreneurs that's their way of doing business. That is the way of life for them, is they start with God. Everything starts with God. Everything starts in faith, but faith only works where the will of God is known. So we don't want people out here on that wheel running around in a circle doing stuff. No, you want to be able to have enough confidence and trust in your relationship with God that he's going to speak to you when you calm down, slow down, right? Business people don't like to slow down, but we have to slow down, listen for God. Got to get away and do that. And then you got to listen to God and act on what he says. That is my main key, main strategy for life, for business in every single area. I literally will not make a guess move, will not make a I know it move. I have to hear him. And if it's too
That's
noisy to hear him, I'm going to get somewhere and wait on him. And that's the faith part that most people don't have. They think something's going to fall apart. They think they're going to miss something. Well, being in the will of God is the safest place you can be. And so I want to raise up entrepreneurs and business leaders, just those that are in the marketplace in general, whether you're working for a company or you have your own company, that you want to be walking in such a level of confidence with God, knowing that he's with you, knowing that he has you, and just being really trained and skillful on hearing his voice so that whatever he needs you to do, whatever he has sent you in that company to do in the life of one person, you might be there just to minister to one person or to save a soul or to save somebody's child, that you're so sensitive to the voice of God that he can trust you with the next 6-figure contract, the next 7-figure, 8-figure contract. But if he cannot hear you, he cannot trust you to hear him and even to do what he says when you do hear, then he's going to go to the person that he can trust. Okay, I'm just telling you. So we really want the people that are called to, I believe everyone is called to a sphere of influence. Okay, we're not all called to do everything. You're called to dominate somewhere. God didn't put you here just to exist. You have a purpose for being here. You're here to be a contributor, okay, in this world. And God desires to make you a distribution center of something. And it's so important that you take time to seek him, to know exactly what that thing is, to know exactly what it is that you're here to do. And then you got to do whatever it takes to get in alignment with that, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if you're shaking and trembling. There's no way I thought I was called into ministry, you guys. I was working at a law firm and I had a business as well. So ministry was the last thought on my mind. I'm a businesswoman. I was about making money. You understand me? But when when I began to seek God, because I really wanted to know, why was I even born? People are just doing all kinds of things. Sun is here, right, to provide heat and light to the earth. The rain even waters the earth. Every single thing that God created, he created it to do something, to provide something for a purpose. It's a purpose for everything that he created, and he is our creator. And so I wanted to know, well, why was I created? What am I supposed to really be doing? Okay. I can go get a job, which I had a very good job, but there was a void. And if you talk to the average person, there's something that they're doing something, but are they 100% fulfilled in what they do? That when they when they go to sleep at night, they know for sure that what they're doing is it. And if you're not there, you need to take a moment and seek. And let me tell you, I cut off television for 7 years, radio, every exterior noise, because I had to know God and I had to know him for myself, not according to my mom, my pastor. I wanted to know God, and I wanted to know who I was in him. What did you create me to do? So I just kept asking that question, Michelle, over and over again. And I look up and I am somewhere prophesying and praying for people and laying hands without ever witnessing that or ever anybody telling me to do that. But that's what innately began to come forth out of me. Like the real me just emerged. There was no school that I went to. There was no books that I read except the Bible. It was just the Bible and prayer. And I would pray every day. Didn't even know it was called prayer. I was just talking to God. And then I developed the ability to hear him, right? In a way that I kept testing it out. Like, okay, I believe this is God telling me. How can I be sure? Right? Because the average person isn't sure.
Right.
They won't step out because they aren't sure. So in that season, the highest level skill that I believe I developed was my hearing muscle, my ability to discern God's voice above every other noise that's happening. And so when you do that, it's very important for you in business, because he'll tell you that's not your business partner. That's a snake, and that person's lying. You could be having a conversation and you're hearing him because how enticing it is, how good they're making it sound. You got to develop that hearing muscle. And I really love training entrepreneurs to do that, to trust that instinct, to trust you feel it, to
Yeah,
ignore
because
it.
even when you said the hearing, because it is noisy out here. If you, I always tell my kids, what's on Instagram ain't real. I mean, it's
It
like you
ain't
follow
real. It's
folks
not.
here or there, whatever it is. It's like nobody, I'm gonna tell y'all, nobody, I don't care how much permanent makeup you have on your face, nobody
No,
wakes up looking like the beauty queen. Okay.
no.
I mean, we got stuff all inside our faces. Do you know how long it took me to do this? I'm like, right? So you talk about that hearing and just cutting out the noise. This is a lot of
Yes.
time, like pretty much after today, it's like I'm really shutting down. I got some things that I need to do that needs to be accomplished before the end of the year. And then also, I love when you talked about the prayer and the business piece. I know, again, I said my daddy was preaching, my granddad's preaching. They were afraid to talk about business. And they were most definitely afraid to talk about, well, I wouldn't say afraid. They didn't talk business and they didn't talk money. And so, we're holding 3 to 5 different offerings. Sister
Yeah.
such and such is making terrible cakes for a fundraiser, when in fact,
Terrible cakes.
yeah, I'm letting you, I'm throwing it out there. That's why I said such and such, sister such and such. And so we're doing all the car washes, this, that, and that, to raise money, when the fact is that if we follow God's principles and we're hearing what he's saying and we're believing, we're believing. By the way, I am getting the mastery class. That's one of the things I told Mike and Lauren, that for Christmas as a family, we're going to sit and we're going to do that together. I know they're like, don't we hear Dr. Tiffany like every week already? I'm like, whatever. So anyway, I digress, guys. But I know that's really important that that you talk about that. That
Yeah.
when we really look at the disciples, a lot of the disciples were very, very successful.
Absolutely.
People in the Bible were very successful and still love God. Like, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would
They
have
had
thought?
careers.
Right. Great.
They were
Just
accountants and
fantastic.
fishermen. They had businesses. Like, yeah.
Right. So, I'm when I talk to you guys, and I bring Dr. Tiffany, I know it's very, very important as a business owner that we are certain that we are connecting and collaborating with the right partners. So again, we're not wasting time. I know for me, at some point in time, I did waste time. I can't waste any more time, because my call is connected to so many other people.
Yeah.
That so many other people had told me, like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting on for somebody like you. And it was like I wasn't in place. So did I hinder what they needed? Because again, if I wait too long, God's going to be like, okay, get out the way, Michelle. There's somebody else
Yeah.
who's going to do X, Y, and Z. But then again, he's bringing this person up, and there's time that's wasted. Me, I don't have no more time. That's right. Somebody said I can't waste time anymore at all. I'm with you, Facebook user. Sorry, I don't know who's saying that, but no more. I don't have time in business, in life, in relationships, and knowing God, getting closer to God. I don't have time to wait. The time is now. Right now, right now, right now.
That's right.
Yes.
And what's so great about you? You're doing everything with your children.
Yes.
And so they will be light years ahead, because the earlier, the better. And to me, it's easier to train a child than an adult. I'm just telling you, because adults have so much to unlearn. They have so many mind or mental blocks, ways of thinking and paradigms that are wrong. So we spend a lot of time trying to get them to unlearn or to rethink. Like, because if you've been thinking this way for 45 years, and here I come with, hey, this is how you're supposed to be thinking about that. You're like,
What?
so you almost have to hear that, at least they say 21 times, right? In order for you to even register it. Imagine if you've been hearing the same thing for 45 years, even if it's absolutely wrong, you believe it. You have decided that is the truth. Even though our truth is written in the Word of God. But if I have decided through my experiences, people that have taught me, what I've been exposed to, that what I think is true, I'm going to believe it. And as a man thinks, he will become. So here I come with, this is the truth. What God has said is the truth. And you're like, well, but it's going to take meditation of that truth. You're going to have to meditate it day and night, according to Joshua 1:8, until the old tree, because it grows up from a seed to a tree, okay, that is bearing fruit in your life, until you get to the root of that tree and it's completely rooted out. Now, what you've been hearing over and over again can now begin to get down in your soil of your heart and take root. Once it takes root, now it has to be watered, and then it grows, and then it produces fruit. So this is literally a transformation. You will never, you can hear me one time, you'll be enlightened, but what I said didn't quite take root yet, because the next thing that you hear is going to just, what I said is going to go, and you're going to put something in. So I teach a principle Michelle talked about. She's going to get that teaching, and that is called mindset mastery. It is probably something that is the most important for a believer, because when you come into the kingdom of God, you get born again and your spirit is new. But you, my friend, you are still the same. You still think the same, believe the same, act the same, because that doesn't change. That has to be an intentional change that you begin to pursue, according to Romans 12:1-2. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, so that renewal of mind process is up to you, not your pastor. Okay, they will help you along and give you the truth, but you have to meditate the word of God day and night, and to begin to do, like, force yourself to do what it says, rather than do what you have been believing. Because 10 times out of 10, we think wrong. We think according to what grandmama and them has said, what college institutions have taught us, XYZ, what trauma has done. And we think away about every single issue and matter of life. But the word of God is the way that we have to align our thinking. And that teaching, mindset mastery, God just said, sit down. This is so important. I sat down and I recorded it, okay, so that I could offer it like on demand, so people could take it away and just listen and listen and listen, because mindset renewal and getting mastery of your thoughts is key to your success in every single area of life.
Because I want to say something to that tree. Some of you guys, you're like, okay, yeah, I can hear something. I have a photographic memory, blah, blah, blah.
No.
When you said, okay, 45 years, I've been listening to this for 45 years. But the thing is, if you've ever seen like these huge oak trees, and when you cut them down, they have rings on the tree.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is this amount of time, this amount of this. This is the belief from my mom, from my grandma, from my great grandmother. And when I say, guys, that it really makes a difference, have a conversation with your parents, if possible, about knowing how to break different generational curses, knowing about generational blessings. One of the things was that when my kids were younger, my oldest two, when they were younger, I would never let them stay over anybody's house. I mean, it was like my husband, he didn't understand at the time. My late husband, he didn't understand. And he was like, Michelle, is no big deal. It's their cousins. And I couldn't for the life of me, just like, I was adamant. I was like, my kids will not, look, they wasn't his kids anymore. It was my kid. My kids will not be staying over anybody's house. Well, I didn't know until later on that there was molestation that happened on my side of the family with an older member. And even though my mother didn't tell me until later, it really manifested. And once I found out, I felt some type of way. And so putting that fear into my children, again, breaking that. But then on the happy side of things, I didn't know that my granddad, he was an entrepreneur. I had this burning like, oh, I want to own this business, own that business. But looking around, nobody really owned a business until I had stepped out, started my own business. And my dad said, oh, now you know that your granddad owned such business. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So again, it's like, what have we been taught? And like you said, just digging it out. And you know, you like 21 times. Michelle have listened to stuff at least 3 times at 21 times. I'm like, they be like, I'm gonna tell you what, Dr. Tiffany, when you meet all my kids all together, they gonna talk about me. They be like, Mama be listening to praise and worship while she's jumping on the rebounder, while she's on the treadmill, while she's listening to this, listening to that, because I have to dig it out. It's like I
Yes.
dig it until it's gone. And you know, it's just, you know, get rid of that poison ivy, because you know, if you that poison ivy keep coming back again and again. So I love when you talk about that. So right now, I know you got a couple things that's happening.
Yes.
And because I'm gonna see you, I know I'm gonna see you this week, but then we'll physically see you in December, me and the little people. But so tell the group, like, what do you have happening? How can they be a part of it? They're listening to you like, oh my goodness, I see the information scrolling at the bottom, but you know, I want more.
Okay, so we do have a few things going on for year end. So Compass University is a great way to plug in on a more consistent basis. That's Compass with a K, Kompass university.com. That's the group coaching mentorship program that we meet monthly and I pour into you guys. That's Compass with a K, university.com. Also, we're going to be doing that's where you can also get the Mindset Mastery on demand teaching and training. You can get the video of it, or you could just get the Audible, and it's for just a nominal fee. Also, we're going to be doing our 21-day fast starting December 1st. And so I'll be live every Monday through Friday. I'm not going to do the weekends. Monday through Friday, I'll be live with the word and with prayer. And that starts December 1st through the 21st. And I'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, and on IG Live, okay, at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you feel free to join in on the fast. If you've never did a fast before, you will enjoy it. Don't worry, you got this. Also, an in-person event we're having at the end of the year is December 16th through the 18th. On Friday night, we have a night of prayer that is free and open to the public. And then the 16th, the 17th through the 18th is a paid registered event where you guys, if you know Michelle, she'll be graduating from our Life Without Limits journey, which was a 52-week journey that I decided to do. But that entire event, the rooms are paid for and included in the registration and some meals. So that's December 16th through the 18th. And it's Life Without Limits experience. And the registration is at lifewithoutlimitsexp.com. If you say, well, I just want to come to the night of prayer, you can do that. You can just scroll down on the page and click on the night of prayer, and you can register, let us know that you're coming, and that is completely free. If you want to do the whole event, scroll to the bottom and click. If you want to bring your spouse, there's a discounted rate for your spouse to come. We would love to have you. Again, the room is included in the registration and your meals. So we'd love to see you. To give to the ministry portion, which is Tiffany Jordan Ministries. I think she has the information there, but it's tiffanyjordanministries.org. I'm Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan on Instagram and on Facebook. I love to connect with you guys, and I hope to see you either during the fast or at the end of the year event.
Yes. So I already told Mike and Lauren, I was like, you know, we're doing the fast. They were like, what? I was like, what? Nothing. We always do a fast. I was like, we're doing it at the end of the year instead of at the beginning of the year.
Yes,
but
so
I was
prepare for next year.
Right. So so another gift that I'm giving them is a journal. I want them to journal. I want them to be intentional.
Yes.
I've never done this for them. I know I've done it for myself. I was like, why wouldn't I do it for them? That they'll have a journal that they'll have of what they are expecting God to do, but then also what are their plans, and of course we'll do the vision board.
Yes.
And then they'll have it up in their room so they could take a look at it every day, going to school, waking up, like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And I'm just excited for them because they're going to be so much, again, like you said, further than where I am.
Yes.
And that's exciting as a parent. You know, it's like you don't have to be concerned about your kids. Your kids are successful, they're blessed, they're wealthy, they're healthy. They're all of these things.
Yes.
And it's because you took the time out to really, expose them. And right here, sometimes that's what it's just all about, is that exposure. But also being in that prayer closet, like I said, makeup all tore down. Makeup all tore down, Dr. Tiffany.
Yes.
Like, what? Like, she looks terrible. Like, whatever.
It's so important to pour into our children. There's so much pulling at them. There's so much. I mean, you turn on the television, honey, it's demonology everywhere. It's not even as subtle as it used to be, but even on some of the cartoons, everything is just horrible. So you really want to, if you have children, and that's one of the things that I'm really called to do as well. Most people don't know that I have a degree in early childhood education and care, that I have a real
It sounds like that it's trying to catch up. It's trying to catch up. But so hopefully you guys have seen the information at the bottom.
When they're a child or smaller, got those things.
Okay. So it sounds like, I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like that we are probably missing Dr. Tiffany. That's okay. I've given all the information below or on the side, that if you want to connect with Dr. Tiffany, this is a great way to connect with her. If you have any questions, please reach out to her. I'm just excited for the Giving Tuesday. Again, it is Giving Tuesday. I will have several other guests on talking about their Giving Tuesday. I know something is going to touch you for Giving Tuesday, so don't hesitate to give. And if you came in late, just stay at the end, find out a little bit about Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan, and I'll see you guys in a few.
Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan is an author, intercessor, mentor, advisor, and apostolic visionary leader. For over a decade, Dr. Jordan has catapulted many business leaders and ministries into greater positions of influence, productivity, and profitability through her transformational leadership, intercessory prayer training, teachings, and prophetic counsel. Dr. Jordan answered the call to ministry while working for a prestigious law firm. During this time, she started a midday Bible study on the streets of downtown Chicago, which led many to develop a more intimate relationship with God. Signs, wonders, and miracles followed the word. Dr. Jordan resigned from her position in 2008 to pursue her heart's desire to help people discover their calling, maximize their potential, and dominate in their sphere of influence. Dr. Jordan is a graduate of the Living Word School of Ministry and Missions. She also graduated from the Joseph Business School of Entrepreneurship. Dr. Jordan is the author of Life Without Limits, 52 Biblical Principles to Reach a Prophetic Destiny, and 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting for Spiritual Breakthrough. She is the founder of Tiffany Jordan Ministries, dedicated to ministries of outreach, empowerment, training, and leadership development. She is also the CEO of Tiffany K. Jordan, LLC, and Covenant Connection Corporation, a consulting firm that provides kingdom solutions for marketplace dominion. Dr. Tiffany K. Jordan, transforming lives to dominate in their sphere of influence.